Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to Abnormal Voyages. My name is David, and today we find ourselves in Roswell, New Mexico. They say the truth is out there, and today we're going to find out just what that may be. We're at the International UFO Museum, so tag along as we find out what may lay in the stars.
We're going to a place that you've never heard of before. It's Abnormal Voyages. You're gonna learn something new. We're gonna open new doors. It's Abnormal Voyages.
This place is just a whole lot of fun. You walk in, and it's like you've just walked in to an actual flying saucer. Let's look around. Here we have the UFO Hall of Fame, which shows not only a little bit of the founders of the museum, but other notable names in UFO history. The walls are adorned with scientists and top experts in the field of ufology, which is the study of unidentified flying objects, and Roswell has definitely had their share of that. Also on the wall, you'll find a couple of items from different pop culture alien hits, and then actual pieces from festivals and other events that have happened here in Roswell that have furthered the exploration of what happened here and what still may be laying for us out in the desert and out beyond the stars. From some of these pictures, it looks like Roswell definitely knows how to put on a big alien party. We might have to come check some of these out sometime. But why is this all here? Why is Roswell such a central focus of aliens? This is a timeline of the actual events when the crash supposedly happened here in Roswell. The year was 1947, and there was a sort of flying saucer mania that had gripped the country. Everybody was reporting seeing these all over, and nobody was really sure what it was. But what else could it be besides aliens? Of course, government officials were very quick to say that anything people had seen was simple things like weather balloons, but others knew better. They knew that this was a cover-up and that there was more going on. On a ranch right outside of Roswell on July 6th, 1947, a rancher dug up pieces of something that had crashed there. At first he thought it was a weather balloon, like he had been told, but after further looking at it, he could tell that this definitely came from somewhere else. He contacted the sheriff, and soon the military was involved, and, wouldn't you know it, all the pieces, and possibly even bodies, were quickly confiscated by the US government. Now, the official word is that it was a prototype kind of weather device that they were testing, and it just happened to crash out there, kind of like this here. But there are a lot of people out there that you will never be able to convince that it wasn't something more like this. And honestly, when you're looking over the facts and details of this case, a lot of it just doesn't add up. It doesn't seem like something that was just a mere weather experiment. It also doesn't help that this wouldn't be the first supposed time aliens had come to Earth. One such famous case was the Betty and Barney Hill incident. Here are pictures of them here, where they supposedly were actually abducted by aliens, brought onto the ship, and were experimented on before being returned back to Earth. But they were never the same after that day. Indeed, the Roswell crash has left so many questions that even to this very day, people put up very expensive expeditions to go out to the site, to go out to where the ranch was, and investigate, to look around to see if there's any pieces left behind possibly, anything at all that might give us a clue to what really happened here back in 1947. Mankind has always been obsessed with exploration and pushing that boundary, so knowing that there was life out there, something to contact, something to talk to, and possibly help us to further our reach into the stars is just too tempting to not fully investigate and find out what's really going on. And along that same vein, the whole thought of Roswell has spawned many, many entries in the pop culture world. Aliens in general are a very popular sci-fi topic, and everyone alive has seen something involving aliens. Whether it be Roswell the CW show, Fire in the Sky, documentaries about supposed incidents that may have actually happened. We even all seem to have kind of agreed on what aliens might look like that have been here. These guys are commonly called greys, even though sometimes you'll see them kind of tannish or green, and it's kind of become the stereotypical alien look. Though that's not how they looked in this film, Independence Day, they were much scarier, but it was still a very good story. They did blow up the White House, as you may remember. And then one of my personal favorite alien stories, Men in Black, has a place of honor here. That actually goes into another conspiracy theory about the actual Men in Black, but we'll save that one for another episode. But basically, for as long as humans have been able to look up and see the stars, they've thought, what if there was other life out there? Surely it can't all be just here on our planet. And ever since then, these wonderful, amazing stories have come to life and entertained us all. And possibly, nothing has done as much for that community as the X-Files. This really put it in the mainstream consciousness of what might be out there. As you've heard, there were 4 bodies supposedly recovered from the crash site in Roswell. Here's what it may have looked like where they contained these said alien specimens. Some of the early reports did indicate that these bodies were at the crash site and that they were not human. Of course, these supposed bodies were quickly taken by the military, and these were brought over to that famous Area 51. Are they still there now? Who knows? But there's definitely something behind those gates. This scene here portrays an autopsy on one of the bodies that was recovered. Now, going through a crash, of course the bodies were not in good shape, so they were already dead when they would have arrived at Area 51. I think maybe one supposedly could have still been alive but was badly hurt. So, the story goes that they performed an autopsy on this strange creature to learn more about it and to see just what exactly it was. Here's this scene of maybe how it happened. All the doctors and government officials around looking at this little alien to open him up. And of course, many people believe that extraterrestrial aliens visiting us is not something new, and that thousands and thousands of years ago, they were here among us. This door is a replica of the famous Palenque astronaut, which is a replica of a Mayan carving that was found, and looks like it possibly depicts an actual alien visiting the Mayan people. Now, there is always the possibility that they just came up with this out of nowhere, but some of these coincidences are a little too strong for certain people to ignore. Were the Mayans helped out by aliens? This is possible proof that they were. And the Palenque astronaut is just one of several examples that seem to depict ancient aliens. Aliens that were here mingling around, things such as the Nazca lines. Nobody's really sure how or what any of this means, but maybe someday we'll finally find the answers. When it comes to UFO encounters, there's actually a classification system of its very own, ranging from first encounter all the way to fourth encounter. Now we start off at close encounters of the first kind. This is seeing an unidentified flying ship, alien in nature, within about 500 meters or so that you can actually see some detail, you see it fleshed out, you know that it's not just a light, there's something behind it. This is what we consider close encounter of the first kind, is actually seeing the alien ship. Moving up the scale, we have close encounters of the second kind. Now this goes beyond just seeing a UFO. This is an event where something physical actually happens. It can be feeling kind of warm around it, it can be your car shutting down, or one of the most popular things, it can be crop circles left behind. And probably the most famous, we have close encounters of the third kind. This is where somebody actually sees the alien, robot, whatever it is that's driving the UFO, piloting it, it comes out of the UFO. That would be considered a close encounter of the third kind. So if you ever meet an alien coming out of a spaceship, you just had a close encounter of the third kind. And then last but certainly not least, we have close encounters of the fourth kind. This one's a little odd. This is where people have actually been abducted. So if you get taken onto the UFO by the aliens, that is an encounter of the fourth kind. Hopefully something that doesn't happen to you. And we now have a wide variety here in a gallery. These are types of reported aliens that people have supposedly seen. And then different crafts. These are artistic imagery and things like that that just describe things that people have seen. And then a little art gallery that takes all of this and kind of pumps it up to the next level. Most of these are all works of fiction, not necessarily real things that anyone has seen, but a lot of them look really cool. There's a lot of creativity and imagination going on here. Lots of beautiful spacescapes, to be sure. And plenty of those very popular gray aliens. Though as you can see, most of them here are definitely green. And what better way to end our visit than a trip to this out-of-this-world gift shop? Anything that you might want that has Roswell or aliens or space on it, they got it for you right here. So when you're in town, make sure you stop by and pick up some accessories for your spaceship and maybe a UFO license. Might come in handy. Well, my new buddies here need a little help getting their car fixed up over here. So I guess we're going to be blasting off. My name is David. This has been Abnormal Voyages. Thanks for tagging along. We'll see you next time.